You train hard, your techniques are sharp, but you still hit air and eat counters. The problem isn't your form, it's your timing and distance. Let's fix that. Most martial artists believe technique mastery alone wins fights. That belief is wrong. You can throw the perfect punch, but if you deliver it at the wrong distance or wrong time, it misses. You develop skills training from static, comfortable distances. Your partner stands at the perfect range for each technique. But real combat is dynamic. Distances change constantly. Timing is unpredictable. When you train only for ideal conditions, you build false confidence. Your techniques feel powerful in the dojo but fail under pressure. You find yourself swinging at air or crashing into clinches. This isn't bad aim or aggression. It's operating in the wrong combat zone. You need to understand the 3 distance zones and train across all of them. Combat operates in 3 critical distance zones. Most fighters only train in one. The flight zone is where you see attacks coming with plenty of time to react. The low-risk zone is where attacks can't reach you, but you have less time to react. The high-risk zone is where attacks land with full power and minimal warning. Traditional training happens almost exclusively in the low-risk zone, the comfortable middle ground where techniques look good but don't reflect combat reality. This prepares you for the wrong fight. You develop a miscalibrated internal rangefinder. You don't know when to step into the high-risk zone to land your techniques, or when to stay back in the flight zone to avoid damage. You need to train all 3 zones systematically. Poor timing and distance management creates 4 specific problems. First, air swinging syndrome. You throw a powerful technique at what looks like the perfect distance but hit nothing. Second, the clashing problem. You constantly crash into opponents, ending up in awkward clinches or scrambles. Third, you become a counterpuncher's dream. Your techniques arrive exactly when your opponent expects them, so you eat counters. Fourth, the initiative dilemma. You always react instead of act because you don't understand when to take offensive initiative versus when to maintain defensive positioning. These problems waste your energy and drain your gas tank. You move in and out of range throwing techniques that can't land effectively. The root cause is training that ignores dynamic distance and timing. Your current training habits build poor timing and distance habits. You train with cooperative partners who maintain perfect distance for you. You work with partners who attack at comfortable, predictable intervals. You practice techniques from limited distance and timing contexts. You train in environments that don't mimic real-world constraints. The consequence is clear. You develop techniques that only work under laboratory conditions. When you face the chaotic reality of actual combat, your techniques fail. You need to break these patterns. Stop training with partners who give you perfect distance. Stop working at predictable rhythms. Start practicing techniques from varying distances and timing scenarios. Your training environment must push you to read and manage distance dynamically, not reinforce comfortable habits. At modern combat martial arts, we treat timing and distance as fundamental combat elements, not incidental concerns. The White Lotus system trains you to read and manage distance as a dynamic, flowing element. You learn to operate effectively across all 3 combat zones. You understand when to occupy each space and how to transition between them. This means you don't just train from one distance. You practice entering the high-risk zone to land techniques, then stepping back to the low-risk zone to avoid counters. You learn to control combat rhythm through variable timing. You break predictable patterns and create timing advantages. You integrate spatial awareness with technical execution, so your techniques automatically adjust to dynamic distance conditions. This moves you from reactive responder to active combat director. Through White Lotus system training at Modern Combat Martial Arts, or MCMA, you develop automatic range finding. This means instinctive understanding of effective engagement distances without conscious calculation. You learn timing disruption skills to break opponents' rhythm and create timing advantages. You develop initiative recognition to know when to seize offensive opportunities. You master distance transition to move smoothly between combat zones. You practice economic movement to achieve maximum effectiveness with minimal energy expenditure. We build your foundation through basic skill development, establishing mechanical precision without the variables of timing and distance. Once your mechanics are sound, we systematically introduce timing and distance elements through intermediate skill development. This creates fighters who can apply their techniques under real combat conditions, not just in the dojo. Stop training for ideal conditions. Train for the dynamic reality of combat. Master your timing and distance, and your techniques will land every time.